So Aaron's up, and we're about out of time, guys. So we're going to answer Aaron's question. That's going to be it. So his is, a new client's GMB account was suspended, and it looks like Google will not reinstate the GMB account since it's been 3 months. He hired a firm to reinstate his account, but it did not work out for him. Should I create a new GMB for him or what? If I create a new GMB, I'm concerned about using the same name for the account as his previous account, which is his company's name. The company has a legitimate location, and they are a service area business. They did make certain to tell Google that they deliver to their customers, and customers do not come to their business. They insist that they didn't violate Google's terms. This is uncharted territory for me, so I need a bit of help with this. Thanks. Okay, so I had last year one of my longest clients who was a fully legitimate business, a pest control company, GMB suspended. And it was from a change that the client requested to the GMB, and I advised against it, but he requested it anyways. And I made the change, and it suspended it. And we went through almost 3 months. It was, I think, 10 weeks of, and I submitted a reinstatement request, and it was denied as a manager of that GMB, and it was denied by Google. So what I was going to do was I contacted the client when we got the rejection from Google stating that they were not going to reinstate it. Again, with no explanation as to why it was suspended or what could, or anything, which is what Google does, right? They kick your ass to the curb and they say, that's it. You got to figure out why. So I contacted the client and said, listen, I can get another GMB for you, and we're going to have to start over with another one and then order a citation cleanup service, because it was a legitimate business. So I had been building citations for years. I mean, and we have close to 1,000, if not over. At the time, it wasn't quite 1,000 citations built to this client. So anyways, it was going to be an enormous project to get that resolved. But the client said, well, should I try as the owner of the account to submit a reinstatement request? And I said, sure, let's give it a shot. So I provided him with instructions, and he submitted as the account owner, and it was actually reinstated. It still took like another 2 or 3 weeks. In total, it was about a 10-week process. So I'm only telling you that because perhaps instead of having an outside firm, maybe you can instruct the client as the owner of that to try to submit on their own if they haven't already. They may have. I'm just saying, if that's something you haven't tried, you might want to try that. The only other option would be to create a new GMB. You can use the same name, that's fine. But what I would recommend is that, obviously the address is going to be different. Even if you don't publish the address when you've initially set it up, you're going to have an address, or unless you buy a spam listing, then they're just going to pluck an address out of thin air and create the new listing. So what I would recommend is you can use the same name. I wouldn't change the brand name, but I would suggest using a different virtual phone number, right? So that makes it a little bit more unique. And then it can be even the same web address, but I would change the phone number. And then if you have any existing citations built out there, you're going to have to go clean all that shit up. And that's where I don't, that's where it creates a lot of work, because remember, when you're changing locations or changing web addresses and things like, well, web address isn't so bad because you can do a redirect, but when you're changing like an address for a legitimate business, for example, you have to go clean up existing citations before building new ones. Building new ones is just going to dilute bad data. It doesn't help you. I mean, you're better off cleaning up existing citations before building new ones, if that makes sense. So I would recommend that if you can't get it reinstated by having the owner make the attempt, submitting the reinstatement reconsideration request, then I would go with a new GMB, change the phone number, and then if you have existing citations, order a citation cleanup service. Go to semanticmastery.com, Loganix, Loganix, L-O-G-A, so semanticmastery.com, Loganix, Loganix, and order their citation cleanup service. It's $500, but it's the most thorough citation cleanup service I've used, and I've used them for years. Any comments on that?
Have the business owner call Google, contact Google, get on with a GMB rep and act really, but I mean, absolutely stupid. They did what? Who contacted you? Who told? I didn't, that kind of thing. I don't know what's going on. It's suspended and I don't know why, that kind of thing. And Google will help him through. 9 out of 10. Now, if they have some type of red flag in their database, you're screwed. Get another GMB.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the last resort, guys, is to get another GMB. But, you know, in this situation, I mean, my pest control client for 10 weeks, and he's a mosquito, like an outdoor pest control company, mosquitoes and ticks and such. And we were talking about like in the spring, which is their busiest time when all this happened. And it was painful. I'm not going to lie. But fortunately, it did get reinstated, which was great because like literally the moment that we got an email notifying us that it was reinstated, like we went and checked and it was right back to where it had been. Like there was no loss of positioning or anything. But for about 10 weeks, it had disappeared. So I, you know, as a last resort, I was going to do what I just suggested. But again, that's a last resort. So try to have the owner, if he hasn't already, contact GMB and submit a reinstatement request that way. And then a last resort would be to create a new one.